Hello everyone, Hector here from Alt Hex, or you can call me Hex if you want. So today I want to do a review and unboxing of the Cidoo V65, which is a 65% keyboard. Basically it's a 65% keyboard, but what's special about this one is that it has a really heavy aluminum case. It has they have their own kind of not proprietary, but they have their own linear switches that they created for this keyboard, it's pretty incredible. And for the price, it actually cost $130. You'll be surprised how much keyboard to get out of it. I'm gonna go a little bit further and swap out the switches and keycaps to kind of make a little retro look, because it already comes in like a classic PC kind of like an off-white look. The whole thing actually looks really nice. I almost kind of don't want to swap out the keycap, so I'm going to buy the V75 when it comes out. I'm going to pre-order it and keep that one stock. You know, I remember when the first mechanical keyboards started coming out, there were usually big companies trying to release mechanical keyboards, and then there was the, you know, other companies like DOS that was doing their own mechanical keyboards and really just relying on Cherry MX and those kinds of switches. And now that we have hundreds, I would maybe even say thousands of different kinds of switches, now there's so many types of profiles for even keycaps, like, you know, DSA, SA, CA, XDA, Cherry. You know, it's just so many combos that you can put together to get the sound that you like and the feel that you like. And a lot of these new keyboards that are coming out that are third party, mostly from Chinese third party companies, they're coming with like now foam and sound dampening, and you know, basically they're adhering and kind of catering to the enthusiasts, right? I at least do a tape mod on all of them. I usually switch switches. I almost never stay stock. Usually when I try to buy keyboards, I try to buy them bare bones. Some just don't come bare bones, like the V65 here from Cidoo doesn't come bare bone. It comes with the keys and the switches, or the keycaps and the switches. But I'm crazy impressed. Like, I ordered the keyboard with the intention of changing the keycaps and the switches, kind of getting a, you know, tactile switch, because, you know, like I said, I'm not really a linear guy, but I'm really impressed with these linears. I kind of want to keep them. So because I also don't mind 75% keyboards. I don't mind the F keys. I think I'm going to pick up the next version, the 75, and keep that one stock because it's amazing. And it's only like $10 more than the V65, which is even cheaper than, you know, the GMK Pro and others like it. And I think it's going to be really a big competitor, because like those switches, they make barely any noise. They're very, very creamy. At least if they keep the same profile that they did with this V65, I hope they do, because it's pretty impressive. But nonetheless, let's get started on this review. Alright everyone, so here we have the V65 by Cidoo. It is a minimalistic design. It has linear switches. You can either use it via wired or Bluetooth. There's a dual mode, of course. There's Mac or PC. Let's just open the box and see how it comes. I already checked it out before, but I kind of want to give you the same experience. So here we go. Let's slide this out. Put it out of the way. So of course, here's the instructions for the V65, both in Chinese and I'm pretty sure it's also in English. It is. I'll move that out of the way. Here is the keyboard. Let's see what's in these little trays. Very nice white ribbon cable, or cable. It's braided, actually. I'm sorry, a braided cable. It's okay. It's very well. Looks very well made. Very sturdy. The problem is that it's kind of glittery or silverish, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm more into custom coils and, you know, all those type of custom cables. Like this one probably end up in my you know, safe box for maybe laters, or just if I need an additional cable. I like to keep a lot of the cables on my desk white, because my desk is white. Most of the theme I have is white, other than this mat. This mat is actually from Journey. It's connected to a wireless charging mat. It's kind of neat, but you know, it's for another time. So let's dig into more of what's in here. So in here we have an actual switch puller and a keycap puller. There is an array of things in here. There's more little those little what do you call these grips? I think if kind of run out of adhesive. These are the what do you call it, diffusers or something like that. They're for the RGBs to kind of make them a little more even and brighter. So take a look at that. You can kind of see them in there. But I'm not going to use these. I really don't care for any RGB. Right, let's get the keyboard out now. That's pretty much all that comes in the box, though. It's just standard foam. Nice little, cardboard box. It's nice. There's a little design, a little graphic in front. It's no big deal. All right, guys. So there's the keyboard. I'm trying to get it focused here so you guys can see it. There is basically a standard 65% kind of layout. Sometimes you'll be missing a key or two here. It actually has the up, down, and the delete. I usually like to modify these. I'll change this to like calculator, and then maybe I'll change one of the FN or Alt keys into like pause or volume. That's just kind of how I like to do it. I know this has a knob, but I really don't see the need for alternate Alt keys or FN key. Well, there's only one FN key, so that's fine. So sometimes I do remove things that I don't like, but that's just custom. But it's a very nice off-white. I'm not sure how well the color is coming through here, but it's an off-white, almost like a classic PC. These colors are very nice. This is kind of like a creamy orange. Now let's see how it sounds with these switches, these linear switches that it comes with, and these keycaps. This keycap set's very nice. It's the same color as the actual board. I mean, they're so creamy. I mean, you just got to kind of type with them to understand how great they feel. And I'm not a linear guy, so again, I'm pretty impressed of how good this sounds for the price that you're getting. So here's the rest of the keyboard. A very nice little cutout here with the basic USB-C, and then the selection between, I believe that might be I can't really tell. It's either Bluetooth to, actually it's not a 2.4 gigahertz. This is actually just Bluetooth. So this is probably between Mac and PC profile. I'll peel off the sticker. Nice little metal logo here with this Cidoo V65 V2 via wired Bluetooth dual mode. And here are the little grips. I'm pretty sure the screws are behind that. Has a nice little design, a couple of cuts here all the way through. Has this nice little edge. When you actually see this from a side profile, or from kind of an angle, it looks like you're none of this is here, because it's a little bit within the actual edge of this cutout. So when it's sitting flat, it looks like this is the actual what's actually keeping it up. But you don't see this flat area as much, so it looks a lot thinner than it really is. It's actually very heavy. I would say it weighs a good 10 pounds, maybe 8 to 10 pounds. I'm sure it's in the description. I just didn't bother kind of going through that. It's very nice. I mean, for $130, you're getting a lot here, it's just getting better and better with these third-party companies. They're adding their own foam. They're adding their own switches, their own keycaps, and they're doing pretty well. Let's take a quick look and see of how these keycaps look. They came off pretty easily. Of course, it's not double shot or anything like that. I'm sure they're just kind of pressed dyed ink there. Nothing special, but they're very thick. If you take a look there, you can see right here that it's super thick. So okay, that's what helps it sound a little less hollow, a little bit more thockier. And let's look at one of these switches. Here we go. So it's a 5-pin, as you can see. I'm pretty sure it's all polycarbonate. It has the standard cherry release here, grips if you ever want to lube them. They're box switches, and that's how they sound. Let me get a little closer to the mic. That actually sounds really good. Sounds even better with the keycaps. Now I'm thinking that the keycaps actually help a lot. So now I'm thinking that um, I'm gonna actually switch these out. I have a set of creamy blue from Echo that I'm gonna try on these. Man, but I'm kind of, I already committed to it because I bought the of the switches and the keycaps. But I'm a little sad that I'm gonna swap these out. I'm actually thinking of, like I said, I'm gonna buy the V75 and just keep it stock. Um, I think even if I switch the keycaps, it's gonna sound a little different. So removing the switch and changing the switch and the keycap, they're gonna sound a lot different. But I know there's a polycarbonate set up in there. We'll check them out right now. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this back in. Here's a pretty straightforward hollow through RGB see-through kind of pass through. But yeah, it has again 5 pins, super sturdy. Nothing too special other than the fact that it's all polycarbonate, very nice and thick, and they're boxed. I'm always a little iffy about the box. I think that but I heard that they help with rattling. And I guess it all depends on the stem and how well it's made and how well it fits within the actual polycarbonate top right here. So that's kind of like the basic overall look of it. I mean, it's plain, but then it's not. It's like that subtle coolness to it, right? It feels retro. It feels really nice. I haven't removed this from my desk. It's kind of still sitting here. I'm playing around with it. I'm having I'm loving how well they sound at night. Not being too noisy and waking anybody up. Definitely a lot. Excuse that. Definitely a lot different than this Hector keyboard. But we have some J-Wix Tactiles V2s in here, I believe. And then these, of course, are CA keycaps. So definitely different profile. And this is plastic, while this is aluminum, right? So we're gonna, in the next step here, we're gonna kind of open this up and see how it looks inside. All right, guys. So we're back here, and just before we start, I want to kind of show you this really awesome kind of pocket tool set. I got this through Temu for $5. So of course their shipping was like $6. So then I went ahead and bought like 4 of these and then just gave them away. I gave one to my son and to a couple of friends, and I kept one up here in my office. So you push it in, pops open, and then we have everything you really need here, right? There's all kinds of bits, right? There is one of these kind of like the separators to pop off clips. Like if you're opening up, a console or a system that has, or a controller and stuff like that, that it's a little harder to pry open. And of course, here is the little tongs. I don't know how you really call them, but again, it's full of bits. And then you press this in, and then the screwdriver comes out. Isn't that pretty cool? It's pretty awesome. So of course, it has nothing on the iFixit, right? The iFixit toolset has way more bits than this, right? But I mean, this you can toss in your backpack, in your pocket, and and take it wherever you want. Right? It's pretty neat. My son loves it. Right? He has one for himself when he's tightening up his glasses, or he's trying to swap batteries on one of his toys or action figures, stuff like that. And it's super handy. While the iFixit, it's a nice little wallet. It's like you can take it in your bag, but there's a lot more to it, right? Of course, it has prying tools and all these other things depending on the set you buy, but for the most part, for $5, yeah, it came straight from China, but that's definitely the savings passing on to you, right? $5 for this is, I would have paid 10-15 for it, right? Maybe more. And I've seen them for about $20 through other sites, and it's basically just folks who are capitalizing on the fact that they can get these shipped from China in bulk for about $4 a piece, and then they flip them, which is, right? It's totally okay. I'm just one that would rather, I'll wait the 3 or 4 weeks for it to show up. So all right, let's first take a look in the back and see what exactly it requires. So I'm gonna first try to see if I can get them out with my actual fingernails. Yeah, there we go. So here, I'll put this aside. Let's try to stick. So it uses a different kind of tool. It doesn't use Phillips. I'll tell you that right now. It's not Phillips, which is okay. I mean, I guess this is when these little iFixit and these third-party multiple tool or multi-tool little screwdrivers are come in handy, right? Let's see. So I'm thinking it's one of these. I'm thinking it's this one. So let's first try it. Yep, that's it. So let's put this aside over here. Let's get the screwdriver going. Yep, so those are it. I've seen them on other keyboards. I think the I've seen those on some Keychron. Oh, you can hear the aluminum on that. Oh, yeah, I gotta take this off. There we go. You know, I've never really been a fan of these silver ones, but it's not too bad. It's really well made. I wish I had some little grip lines on the side, but you know, you can't, you know, expect too much for the price of this. I mean, look at it already. There's some like nice gaskets here. It's super well manufactured. Like it's like perfectly like laser cut. It fits very nice. Look at that. It's very beautiful. Let's open this up. I'm sure there is a little. Yep, here it goes. Let's get that off. But I don't even have to do a tape mod on this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna do any of that. There's enough. This is why it's so nice and thocky and creamy. It's just built so well. And again, I can't. Oh man, I'm starting to break this. I might need to. Yeah, I kind of cracked this already. All right. Well, let's hope we didn't f this up, right? Yeah, I broke a little piece up, right? Gonna learn it. I mean, everything's intact, but I cracked the top. So, lesson learned. Cross your fingers that it still works when I put it back in. Cross my fingers. I just, you know, dropped $130 on this plus tax. No one gave this to me. All right, so here is the very nice little layer at the bottom. It's not foam. It's like slightly like a rubber grip and plastic on this side. I guess it's it's a nice little shield to protect it from the heat. Here is of course the little board for the USB-C and the toggle for the Mac PC. Here is the battery pack. 300 mAh of battery life, 3.7 volt. Typical. I mean, it's not great, but it's also pretty good. It's nicely inserted here. It almost seems like you can fit a larger one. I don't know if I do it, but it almost seems like you can add one that's maybe 3500 in here. That'd be kind of cool if it's not too fat, right? But if you can find one that's just this thin, you can probably kind of measure it and then see if you can find one online and with the same similar pin, you can probably upgrade it. I'm not gonna do any of that, of course. I'm gonna just kind of show you this plate. Again, very nice, very nicely cut, very nicely made, nice color. I think it's just a very nice board. I mean, for a third party, we didn't have this a couple of years ago. We're still getting really hollow keyboards, and we'd have to do all the modding and I mean, that's the fun part. But I mean, something that comes in like this and you're just swapping out switches and keycaps at most is also awesome, right? I mean, customizing isn't for everyone. Here is the board, right? Of course, here are the two bits where we have the two areas to plug into. Again, a nice little foam board. There is a lot of foam in between. So there's this piece here, right? That technically where you would do the tape mod, and actually no, that is actually this is where you would do the tape mod, and then there is another foam in between the board and the polycarbonate plate right here. So it does have a polycarbonate plate. You can kind of see it right there, right? All right. So there's a lot of dampening going on. So there's 1, 2, 3, just different layers of sound dampening. Obviously, it helps for when for the bend, and so it's not too hollow, and so it gives a little bit more weight. But specifically, it helps the sound, right? The motherboard is the board for it is in here. I'm just apart. I don't want to take it apart too much, but it's very typical, right? RGB south facing. All the pins kind of sit there nicely, and all the switches sit there nicely. Of course, the pins are rolling in here, and then we have the the 3 plastic pins for the switch. Sorry if you can't see that. I'm trying to get that focused here. There you go. So you want to take a look. There's the board. Probably won't do too much there. We got two little foam pads here to kind of have it sit well and help with the dampening as well. It's just a really nice setup here, right? So we're gonna go ahead and put this back so I don't break this any further. So cross your fingers that I don't destroy this. Let's get this back in here. I mean, I got a little too rough with the this pin over here. Give it a quick check. That seems okay. Yeah, it seems all right. I'm gonna do pull up here document, and I'm going to try things. Yep, I think we're good. I think that's all good. Yeah, so I saved myself a little headache there. Again, lesson learned, right? So we really don't need to keep this open if I'm gonna start removing the keycaps, because then it's just going to I'm gonna be pulling it up and down while I'm yanking them out. So I'm gonna put this back together and then we'll swap out the stuff. All right, guys, there you go. Back together with a few hiccups. Here's the little piece I broke off. It's totally the stupid thing that I did, but you know, lesson learned. I've done this before, so this isn't my first rodeo. So, but I totally was too busy trying to figure out what I was gonna say, and I, you know, did a stupid move. But nonetheless, it's still working. I got the pins in. It should be fine. I mean, I might go back in there and add some hot glue and fix that, but we're gonna go ahead and switch the keycaps. I'm gonna do this in, you know, fast motion. All right, guys. Here it is without the keycaps. Here are the stabilizers. I didn't really touch that, but they actually sound really good. From some other reviews, that I understood that some came with a little bit of a rattle on the space bar. I have no problem with it, but I'm gonna actually get some lube, some injection lube, and then just kind of shoot it through here, help it out a little bit. But this keyboard, I'm telling you, it's very solid. When they made this, I'm sure they kept in mind that there is a lot of enthusiasts out there. If you're gonna do a nice little laser cut aluminum base case, you're gonna want to kind of keep everything else very well formatted, nicely well put together. Once you start getting into the, you know, the high aluminum, more expensive type cases, that's when a lot more money starts coming in. People are paying a lot more, and they don't want to get, especially if it's complete, you don't want to get a very nice case and then, you know, just a noisy, rattly, you know, experience. It's just, you feel like you've wasted your money, right? So these third-party companies are really starting to kind of keep up with that. I think the closest that we've seen that something that's been, you know, top notch is like that new ROG keyboard from Asus. Not my thing. I like that it has a little screen. It's a little much. If I'm gonna get something with a screen, it's probably gonna be the Zoom 6075 that's out, that's coming out pretty soon. That's out for pre-order. I think the pre-order might have ended today. But everything is very well put together here. You can probably swap this out with a different kind of plate. I think there's options on like AliExpress. Again, I'm not gonna do it. This keyboard sounds incredible on its own by itself. I feel like they put their heart into this, because if I was to build a keyboard, I'd want it to sound like this. I'd want it to feel like this. I know there is another version from a different company. They use the same schematics, same blueprint. They're probably sharing the blueprint. They have other colors. They have like a crimson red or something like that, and a couple other colors. That red one would be cool for like a Famicom type of theme, but I think it comes bare bones. I'm not sure. I don't think it comes with all these keycaps and switches. I mean, just listen to these. I mean, man, I almost feel bad taking these out, but here we go. Speed run. So guys, already I got a little problem here. I broke a switch. I didn't break the switch. I broke the polycarbonate. And I'm being a little rough. I'm trying my best to grip these. This part here is just a little delicate. So again, lessons learned while breaking down a keyboard, right? It's still decent. I mean, it's fine. It just cracked right there. So when you're getting these, you really want to get into these little crevices right here and then pull up. This could happen though. I'm gonna guarantee it's not gonna happen. So I guess I'm a little disappointed at this here that it easily broke. I'm not being extremely rough. I'm just trying to remove them like any usual switch, right? I'm gripping them from each corner, right? Trying to grip it on top, grip the bottom, and pull, right? But at the same time, because there's so much lack here and they wanted to keep this hollow, they had to make this a lot thinner. So here's one of the kind of downfalls of trying to do that, right? It's super thin that this easily cracks. So I'm a little bummed about that, but all right, moving forward, right? Look at that. There's like a little bit of dampness in there somehow. It's like maybe lube they got in there, got in these crevices. You see that? How you see those speckles? That's kind of weird. Nothing. I mean, I didn't get this keyboard wet. I mean, so that's a little weird. Okay. So I guess that's a little knock on it. I guess someone might have been using when they put these together, because these are kind of slightly lubed. They're not heavy lubed, but either that's just kind of the foam being weird against this polycarbonate, or it's a little damp there. I don't feel any wetness, but it is slightly greasy, so I'm thinking it's someone when they were putting this together, they had some lubes and got lube on their hand. They got lube on their hands and then just kind of handled it that way and didn't bother to clean it off. So yeah, but nonetheless, I mean, I'm still impressed with the quality of the keyboard. The switches that I'm gonna toss on here. So I'm gonna put these Echo V3 switches, cream blues. I have another video about a review on these that you can check out. So guys, these are 3-pin, but they should be good enough. Alright guys, so here are the Echoes installed. They actually sound a little quieter than the original ones that were on here, but we'll see once the keycaps are. Because the keycaps, I mean, they're third party. I got them through Amazon. They're probably a Chinese knockoff. I'm not sure, but I'll show you the keys I got. Hold on. So here they are. Not a very impressive box by any means. I've opened them already, but yeah, when they come in a box like this, I got them pretty cheap. I got them for like $25 for a really large set of like 180 keys, keycaps, right? So they weren't gonna go all out on these boxes. I know when you get something from Drop that costs like $80, they're all nicely well made. I bought this other set on AliExpress. They just came in a bag, right? They all came in a bag. It was annoying as hell. But All right, so let's go. Let's check these out. So I bought these really cool retro keycaps, right? There's a few different. There's so many like extra custom ones, right? Here's some of the keycaps. Here's like the PlayStation stuff. Here's a couple of little hearts and of course there's some actual characters over here. We got Mario and Mega Man and Rolf, or and the Pac-Man characters, up and downs, mushrooms, Contra. There's a pretty good amount of them, right? Pac-Man even. So I'm going to kind of put this together, and we'll kind of get back to this and see how well how well these sound. You know, just for the sake of it, check out the actual keycaps. So nothing special, not too thick, not as thick as the original keycaps that were on here. So I'm expecting a little hollow sound. They're also DSA, so they're all flat and they're all the same size, right? I dig that. On certain keyboards, like the lifted ones, with the lifted switches, they look kind of goofy. But they work on these cut-in type keyboard. All right, guys, finally done there. It took a bit, but you know, I got everything installed. It's super flush. I just love how it looks. You can take a look here. Look, super flush. That's the DSA profile that's making it look like that. You know, people have different preferences. I don't mind DSA. I don't mind those kind of flat keys. They're kind of short, and once you kind of put them inside the keyboards, they kind of lay very nicely squared and symmetrical. I dig it so much. So like I said, these are obviously a little cheaper. These keycaps are not the best quality. I mean, I think they feel good. The print is nice. They're very colorful, but they're gonna not sound the same. So I mean, they're still a bit creamy. I mean, these are creamy keycaps, per, you know, the name. Now the spacebar is the one that bothers me the most. There's a bit of a rattling sound in there. I'm gonna have to clean this one up, add a little bit of lube, maybe add some dampening inside this keycap to kind of make it sound a little bit more dense. I prefer the quieter sound, even though they're tactile, they're not linears. But the pushback on these are great. They feel very nice. So I'm gonna do a little sound test again. So they sound pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the RGB. I'm not gonna kind of get too deep into it because, I mean, you can figure that out. This starts blinking once you plug it in, so it detects it. I need to kind of mess around a little bit more with the VIA program to kind of maybe change some of these keys. I kind of turned this one into an up and down, a left right key. I used the Tetris. I try to keep this Nintendo themed. I know the keycaps had, you know, Pac-Man, had some Atari in there, had a couple other things, PlayStation, but I think it wasn't going to really mesh with this kind of retro Nintendo look I'm going for. Again, there's ways to change these RGB to colors, to all different kinds of effects. You can kind of look into that if you decide to purchase it. I don't want to waste too much of your time on that. But yeah, most of us know are the keys and you know, all the secondary keys for each of these. So I kind of added 4 Nintendo type themed characters here. I added the Game Boy, I think that's the Famicom or the Super Famicom, and the SNES here, kind of to give it a nice little retro look. 2 little hearts for the alt keys, which I might actually change one to something else. I love the profile. This is going to kind of go up. I'm going to put this up somewhere. I might have wanted a little different on this. Like, I might have wanted to change this to like a red. I'm going to try to look around, see if I can find something for it. It's very well made. It's very sturdy. It doesn't move around. It clicks in pretty well. But I wish it had, kind of like the key crown, I wish it had the lines on the side to kind of grip your fingers. You know, some people will sweat, so this might slip from your thumbs. It's petty, but I think they could have done a little better on that. Again, I changed these because I already kind of committed to making this a retro keyboard. It is, again, very nicely well colored, and very well machined, and I really like it a lot. So again, here are the keys. Show it to you slow motion. I like this little tag. It's actually made out of like metal. It's not just a piece of plastic there. Nice little ridges, nice cutouts. So there it goes, guys. Again, I'm very impressed with the price, $130. I almost effed this up. I did break a pin, but I was able to get the pins in without them kind of dingling out and not working. So I was able to kind of rectify that. You know, again, the original switches, the casing, while they feel very well made, the decision where they made to add diffusers, they had to thin out the housing on the outside, on the top of the switch, and it's very prone to breaking. So just be very careful when you're taking them out. I'm not that bummed about it. I'm a little bummed because I would expect a little more. But again, you're paying $130. If everything that's inside to keep this very nice and quiet, but also give it a nice little thocky sound, it's pretty impressive. I'm sure they're still making money on this, but compared to some other similar keyboards that are going over $200 to $250, just on drop, and they don't have half of the stuff that this comes with, right? You can choose to opt out. You can't choose to opt out. They all come with keycaps and switches, but for the price, it's very easy to want to invest and buy this keyboard and then swap the things you want and still modify it to give it a little bit of more personality, right? So guys, that's it. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments, send me a direct message, and thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until next time.